Hi everyone, it's Mary with Mary's Stampin' Cafe. Thanks for stopping in at my Stampin' Saturday uploaded and recorded video. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for helping me hit 1,000 subscribers. And if not, go ahead and click that subscribe button and then click the bell. The bell is that notification so you know every time that I've uploaded a video or am going live. So it is time to share another wonderful project using the Winter Owl Bundle in the September to December 2023 mini catalog that is coming in just 4 days. So exciting. So if you remember, if you've watched, I shared this one with the technique with the Fragrant Forest background stamp. This one here with the All About Autumn Designer Series paper stack is beautiful. And then our beautiful soaring midnight owl here with the builder dies. So pretty. So there's one more week here that I am sharing the winter owls because this particular die of the beautiful tree trunk is something I wanted to focus on. So that's what I'm doing today. So I am using some scraps that I have for some of my projects with that beautiful All About Autumn Designer Series paper. So beautiful. I have all these extra strips from cutting the paper down, and you don't ever want to waste these beautiful strips. So I found pieces that were kind of that natural forest look, and let me show you what I've done. I have a piece of thick, very vanilla, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I took 5 of those strips, and these strips measure, oh goodness, they measure 3/4 of an inch wide. And so what I did is I simply put my base of a card lined up on my grid paper so I knew things were straight. And then I measured the halfway point and I placed my first strip down. Now these strips are longer than the card base, and that's fine. And then I interchanged each strip, and I've got this beautiful background here. I left just a little bit of a gap, and I have that even on each side. When you start in the beginning and you go outward, it will be even on each side, which is always wanted. And of course now I have a little bit of glue everywhere. So all I need to do here now is to trim up these strips. So what's nice about having a grid paper or a grid to work with, because you want to definitely be lined up. But I love doing things like this because you're using up those scraps that you have in an interesting way and not wasting them, because as crafters we don't want to waste a thing. There we go. So there we have that beautiful background, and it's different, it's interesting. So I took that beautiful trunk die and die cut out into 4 different of our beautiful nature tones here. I have die cut in pecan pie, early espresso, copper clay, and crumb cake. And I wanted to do different colors because it's interesting when you put that tree trunk down, which tree trunk is really going to feature and be a great focal point and stand out. And so we have different ones to take a look at and to use. And in this particular designer series paper, we have pecan pie and early espresso and copper clay, so all of those really work well together. Now with the crumb cake, I actually think the crumb cake stands out really well, and I could varnish here a bit and do some of the, say, copper clay or pecan pie with my blending brush and really give it some dimension as well. So you have to just decide which is the one that's really telling your color story. And so we have that. So I'm going to set that aside for a moment. And then I'm going to bring in Ugh, there's glue everywhere. I'm going to bring in this pretty owl right here, because this owl is going to be peeking out from the hole. Pretty sure. Maybe I'll do the other owl. I'm not sure. We'll see. So I just have a scrap, very vanilla here, and I'll go ahead and stamp that owl. I'm going to grab the other owl and stamp it as well, just in case I decide I need a different. Make sure I ink that up real well. And there we are. So that's with my Memento ink. Now I just have some Stampin' blends here, and I am just going to touch the owl with just a little bit of color. And the only reason I'm doing this is just so the owl doesn't get lost on the card. I know it's a snowy owl, and our snowy owls are white, but if you've ever seen a snowy owl, yes, they are white, but their under feathers actually have some color in them. Oftentimes it's a gray, but I am going with some of our beautiful coordinating colors. And again, just giving a touch of color onto those feather places, just like that. That's all they need. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut out this owl, and I'm going to grab the die for the other owl and cut it out as well, just as an in case. All of these beautiful dies, and oh, building these wings for that beautiful owl and that's soaring. Do it in some metallics like I did for my card last week. Just gorgeous. All right, let's bring up our mini. Go nowhere without my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. It's a must. Let's go ahead and put our owls down. Now our owls will have just a little bit of a white edge. Offset my plates, put this down, and I see my owls. What I love about this is I can take the plate and simply kind of shush it around a little bit. And I say that, and now I can't. So let me grab my washi tape, since I want to do both of them at the same time, and you should. I think it saves time, but obviously this isn't saving time at the moment for me, but that's okay. So grab your washi tape. Make sure it's not too sticky, because you certainly do not want to rip the cardstock for your pretty little owl. That would just be sad. Go ahead and put that down. There's that one. It was kind of a long piece, but that's okay. And then this owl, they do have that little bit of that gap, so you want to take that into consideration. And there we go. All right, now my owls won't move. Offset my plates. And there we go. Now my owls are sideways here, so you might hear a little clinking of my machine. Because, oh, not bad at all. The roller needs to go over all that surface of the die. So if you have a really wide die like this, it has to jump over that. So let's be real careful taking out our owls here. Like I said, I don't want the careful pulling up the washi tape. It's not real sticky, but it can pull the cardstock and tear it. So there's that one owl. This one, I'm going to be, see how it really, when it goes through the die machine, it really pushes down. Just be careful that it doesn't cut or tear that cardstock. There we go. There we are. So two beautiful owls. Pop those right back in so I don't lose them. So even so, I see my owl here. I've got a little too much, but that's easily fixed. Oh, my scissors are right here. That's easily fixed. I'll just go right here, kind of take a little rounded tour around my owl. Didn't quite have it lined up how I should have. There we are. Come in a little more on this divot here. There we are. Much better, much better. So now when I take a look at my, and I feel like this particular tree, if I look at my colors, we have kind of the deeper forest going on here, but then this lighter part coming in. Sometimes it's just hard to decide. And then the really deep, deep, deep. All right. Now I have the inset of the tree right here. And I am liking the crumb cake. So what I'm going to do, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and check out with the copper clay. And the reason I'm choosing the copper clay, because again, it is a predominant color in the designer series paper. And I kind of like that. All right, so let me bring this guy in. Do some shading of this as well. Because I'm going to have this here, and I thought I was going to have this guy in here. But now I'm thinking maybe I might put him in, but then I really can't have him in there because his tail's sticking out. But I like the size of him better. So I might trim this owl's tail feathers, to be honest. I think so. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in because we would not see through the tree trunk to the forest. So this piece that die cuts out to make your hole, you're going to want that back in. There we are. So then I'm going to bring some dimensionals in for this. And then just little pieces for the side here. All right, and so then if my owl is right here, let's see how we have it. And then this comes over top, just like so. Now I'm coming back to this one. giving me grief. I guess I'll use this guy. And we'll tuck him in once I have this down. So you see a host code there on the screen. That is the September host code. So if you want to use that host code to shop with me, that would be fabulous. I would really appreciate it. That's kind of fun. The owl peeking out of there. I have a dimensional right there that's kind of getting in the way of him. Let's see if I can move that dimensional out. Put it somewhere else. Put it down lower, maybe. Let me get just another little one. You have to be a little creative doing this to get things to work the way you want them to. That I can kind of peek down in there like so. Let's get that in there. I'm just kind of peeking out from there. We are. There we are. Now, I don't know that a little owl would be on the ground like that, but I kind of like it. I think I'm going to use it. I don't want to waste him. Never waste. Every little bit. Gives him a little more. There we are. I like it. I like it. Now we need our sentiment. So I grabbed a beautiful sentiment. You just never quite know. So the go-to greetings is really great because you have very small. Hello, just a note, thank you, thinking of you, happy birthday. Then you have them a little larger in another font. And then you have a beautiful large happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note, and thank you. So how fun is that? So I'm actually using the thinking of you today. And I am going to go with the copper clay. No, I'm going to go with my Memento ink. And then I will just do a little sponging with the copper clay. I threw that lid. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and trim this up. Go. Nothing fancy, just a nice little rectangle. And then I'll bring in that copper clay. I'm not re-inking the little blending brush here. unless I need to. Could use just a little more. I always pat off because when you first ink the brush, it has a lot of ink on there. And you don't want those big blobs for sure. All right, and this is going to come right in here like so, just like that. Love it. And I want that to come right to the edge. That's how I know I'm lined up, right to the edge of the very vanilla. Thinking of you. And then, of course, you know, you guys, we have to have our gems. Gems or liquid glue is great because you can kind of move it a little bit if you need to. Thinking of keeping things straight. And I love having just this rectangle thinking of you because it mimics what's going on in these strips here, and it helps to then balance it that way. So now, when I'm thinking about my gems here, do I want to kind of go with that lighter to tie in with my lighter trunk, or kind of go in again with my deeper? I am going to go in with deeper, oops. And. There we are. Thinking of you. All right, so let's take a look at the inside of the card. I do have copper clay for the inside of the card layer. I like, if I'm using vanilla or white, to always have a nice layer on the inside. It just gives so much more interest. There we are. And then for the inside sentiment, I'm going to use the thinking of you on the front. So I'm going to use this one that's from the Winter Owls that says, may you have time to enjoy the quiet moments of the season. And we are into that fall season. Now, because I used the Memento ink for the outside, I'm going to use for the inside as well. There we are. And then that beautiful strip that I'm going to put in there to mimic that. Just line that up. I want to come right to the edge. Use up those strips. I still have some, so I'll have more projects to do with them. That's nice. Then we'll put that right inside. There we are. That is very nice inside. Very nice. May you have time to enjoy the quiet moments of this season. And there we are. We have that beautiful forested background with an interesting layout with those strips using them up. Got a couple of great little owls here hanging out in that tree. And again, you can see some trunks done in some different colors, so think about what you're working with and which of those would be a great one to use. I've got 3 more to play with now. All right. Well, here they are. Week 1, 2, and 3. And then this beautiful week 4, Snowy Owl. There we go, our winter owls. Snowy owl, winter owl, you know. Well, there we are. So leave me a comment. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share if you would. I'd really appreciate that. Check out my link here for online shopping. And check out all of my links below for my events and specials and all of that. Which is your favorite of the ones that I've made all 4 of these weeks? Go ahead and leave a comment, guys. And until next time, happy stampin'.